Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. We are 2 episodes. This is the second to the last episode as we conclude Esther. In this episode, you're going to see how the tables are turned. The whole book is showing the possible demise of the Jewish people. And in this section, in this chapter here, you're going to see how the tables are turned. And the Jewish people were wiping out their enemies legally. Okay? It's an amazing thing. You're captive in a foreign land, and you are allowed to annihilate your enemies, and you're able to do it legally. It's an amazing thing. So we're going to be reading today chapter 9 of the book of Esther, verses 1 through 19, and it's entitled, The Tables Are Turned. Okay? So follow along with me. It says this: On the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar, the edict commanded by the king was to be carried out. On this day, the enemies of the Jews had hoped to overpower them. But now the tables were turned, and the Jews got the upper hand over those who hated them. How about that? The tables are turned. Okay. The Jews assembled in their cities in all the provinces of King Xerxes to attack those determined to destroy them. No one could stand against them because the people of all the other nationalities were afraid of them. And all the nobles of the provinces, the satraps and the governors and the king's administrators, helped the Jews because fear of Mordecai had seized them. Okay, remember, Mordecai is now like second in command here. Mordecai was prominent in the palace. His reputation spread throughout the whole provinces, and he became more and more powerful. Verse 5, the Jews struck down all their enemies with a sword, killing and destroying them. And they did what they pleased to those who hated them. In the citadel of Susa, the Jews killed and destroyed 500 men. They also killed Parshadathan, Dalphon, Aptha, Partha, Adalah, Ertalah, Parsalah, Armasah, Ardai, Vasalah, the 10 sons of Haman, son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews. But they did not lay their hands on the plunder. Okay? The number of those killed in the citadel of Susa was reported to be to the king that same day. The king said to the Queen Esther, the Jews have killed and destroyed 500 men and 10 sons of Haman in the citadel of Susa. What have they done in the rest of the provinces? Now, what is your petition? It will be given to you. What is your request? It will also be granted. Okay? So, they had killed 500 men in Susa. That's the capital. That alone they had done. Okay, and also the 10 sons of Haman. So that way there wasn't any chance of revenge from Haman's family. Okay, because naturally they'd be wanting to seek revenge for him dying. So they killed those 10 sons, and the king, they're talking about it like that night, all the events that has happened. And the king says, now what else do you want, basically? And so Esther's going to answer here in verse 13. If it pleases the king, Esther answered, give the Jews in Susa permission to carry out this day's edict tomorrow also, and let Haman's 10 sons be impaled on poles. So the king's command that this be done. An edict was issued in Susa, and they impaled the 10 sons of Haman. The Jews in Susa came together on the 14th day of the month of Adar, and they put to death in Susa 300 men, but they did not lay their hands on the plunder. Okay? So they not only killed the sons of Haman, but they made an example of them by putting them up on impaling them on the poles. Okay? So it's a way to make an example of someone. Don't mess around with us, because you'll be impaled like these guys were. Okay? Is the message they're sending out. So they killed 500 the first day and then 300 the next day. So their enemies in Susa were wiped out. This is just that town. Verse 16, meanwhile, the remainder of the Jews who were in the king's provinces also assembled to protect themselves and get relief from the enemies. They killed 75,000 of them, but did not lay their hands on their plunder. This happened on the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day they rested and made it a day of feasting and joy. Okay? So in Susa, they had 2 days where they could kill. So they did 500 the first day and 300 the next day. In the rest of the provinces, they didn't have like the bonus day. But they killed 75,000 of their enemies on that one day. Okay, that's a huge killing right there of the Jews defending themselves and killing their enemies. So 75,000 here. And they did. You notice they didn't take their plunder. They were allowed to, but they didn't. They were just showing that don't mess with us. Verse 18. The Jews in Susa, however, had assembled on the 13th and 14th, and then on the 15th they rested and made it a day of feasting and joy. This is why rural Jews, those living in the villages, observe a 14th and 14th of the month of Adar as the day of joy and feasting, a day of giving presents to each other. Okay. So it was they had different days because the people in the outskirts only had the one day to do this work of killing their enemies, where in Susa you had several days to do it. Okay, so but I wanted you to see from this whole thing is the tables are turned, and it said it right. It said that same phrase in the beginning of what I read. The tables were turned. That. When you first read the book, you start reading the first part and you're like, oh no, all these Jews are going to die. But in the last part of it, it's like the tables are turned and they're allowed to legally kill their enemies. And they do. And so the tables are turned. They can now defend themselves and get rid of their enemies. And they'd be like, this guy wants me dead. And so they would just kill him. So that would never be a problem. Okay. So that's an interesting thing, the way God had set it up. This whole thing through the book of Esther, and it's the way the tables are turned. All right, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we conclude the book of Esther. How about that? Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.